There's more to imagine when you listen. So let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes, starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Have you ever covered a carpet stain with a rug? Ignored a leaky faucet? Pretended your half-painted living room is supposed to look like that? Well, you're not alone. We've all got unfinished home projects. But there's an easier way. Thumbtack is the app that makes it easier to care for your home. Pull out your phone and in just a few taps, search, chat, and book highly rated pros right in your neighborhood. Download Thumbtack and start caring for your home the easier way.
Let me tell you, it has been... So, Beth and I were up there for like 10-15 minutes trying to make this work the first way, and then it was hilarious because we kept having to try to mute each other to try to figure out where the mic lead was. It was really good. Arthur, you almost got some very choice audio here.
I got to hear the samples of it. It was not good.
Well, that's good that you guys figured it out, because I just lost track of time. I was standing up at the top of my hill, because if I go up to the top of the hill, I can't see them from right in front of my house. So I go up to the top of the hill, I can see the Cathedral of Learning with the victory lights illuminated. And so I was just kind of chilling there. I looked at my watch. I was like, oh man, I got to go back down the hill.
We love to see it.
We have a strong chance of being able to see the aurora here tonight.
Oh shit, really?
Oh yes.
Oh.
Well, not me. I just assume, the victory lights are so bright that I won't be able to see stuff like that.
That's just God telling you that Pitt won.
So this is how this is going to be. Cool.
Yeah. That's how we treat guests around, how guests treat hosts around here. Welcome everyone to the Sickos. Oh, lost it. What? Welcome everyone to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of what's up?
Nothing.
You keep making sounds.
All right.
Welcome everyone to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of what am I doing wrong?
Oh, nothing. I'm just messing with you.
You guys are killing me. Welcome, everyone.
I'm sorry.
I'm covering my mic, my camera. I can't do it. I don't know what's going on.
Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of September 15th, 2024. My co-hosts all have their hands at the camera because they can't look at me without, I think, laughing, which feels emotionally isolating.
To be clear, I was looking at you the whole time. Mm-hmm. It was so you wouldn't see my face.
What did I do wrong?
Nothing. That was why it was funny.
Oh my God, you guys are driving me crazy. This is what happens when we get together. Now all of a sudden the vibe is off. We can no longer be together ever. Congratulations. I've said it. No,
we
never.
broke the thing.
We broke the thing. We never get to see each other ever. Oh, good. Arthur's now adding things to this. This stream is off course already. Fuck it. Folks.
Were we ever on course? Do we ever do that?
No, because that would involve a course being set. Beth and I have had many conversations over the past 72 hours about how the off-courseness of this thing makes it work.
If you ever see NASCAR running a road course, that's what we are.
Are we the good one or the bad one?
We're the Coliseum, a cloud of dust.
Are we Watkins Glen at least?
I think we're Watkins Glen.
Yeah, okay. we're turn one at Watkins Glen.
All right,
I'll take it.
I'll take that one.
We should run the boot.
What's
I
the
don't know
one
what
out?
that means for us, but we should do it.
Trust me, we are doing whatever it is that is.
What's the weird one out in California?
Sonoma.
Sonoma. Yeah, we're not that one.
No, we
That's
don't
too
have a
high
hairpin
class for
like
us.
that.
We are Watkins Glen.
Folks, as always, I'm Jordan, and with me tonight I have Commish, Beth, Pitt Girl, and Arthur. Escalante, Commish, how are you, sir?
I'm great. I've had a whirlwind tour of just ridiculousness. So I did the. I'll just go through what I went to get to Pittsburgh and when I went to get back. So I had a flight out of San Antonio at 6:50 a.m., which basically means I'm up at like 4 a.m. on Friday. And then I take my 7-year-old kiddo with me too, because, I can't leave the wife with the 2 kids. I had to take one of them, which I'll take the older one and let him experience his first flight ever. But he got his wings, which is great. We go San Antonio to Nashville. Avoid the remnants of, I guess it was Hurricane Francine, I believe.
Yes.
And not really any turbulence whatsoever. We get to Nashville. We exit the plane, but then we get right back on the same plane. It's a different flight number, but it's the same like crew. It was weird. So
Okay.
the only thing I saw in the
Southwest
Tennessee
is weird.
airport, Southwest is weird. Yeah, the only thing I saw in the Tennessee airport, the Nashville airport, was I walked into like their Hudson News or whatever the like store where they just you buy like $5 for a pack of gum and a bottle of water is $5 or something if you're lucky.
Mhm.
There's full bottles of bourbon on the freaking wall. And
yeah, that feels weird.
yes, like high class whiskey. And then they also have like the Old Smoky moonshine jars. They have like the Old Smoky moonshine dill pickles. I took a picture of it on the Snapchat, but I didn't save it. So I wish I would have saved that because I'd have showed you that. But then we got back on the plane. So we get to Pittsburgh and I'm like, all right, let's take the kiddo to the incline because we get in at like noon or 1 o'clock. Let's take the kiddo to the incline. Well, the only problem is the GPS on the rental car and my connection with my phone like cuts out at the absolute worst time. And so I don't know where the hell I'm going in Pittsburgh at all. I know I'm on the right side of the river, which is great. That's all I know. I'm like, I need to stay on this side of the river. I know it's over here somewhere. And I wound up going to the Monongahela on accident, the Monongahela incline. Then there was like a lookout there. And then we went to, I finally made it to the Duquesne. We rode it up and down, which was great, and got a lot of photos there. Then we went to Permanente Brothers right after that for lunch because the kiddo was hungry, and that was nuts. We did all the brawl, which we're going to talk about that on Saturday, and then I left like 10:30 flight. Went to St. Louis. We ate at this airport restaurant that was St. Louis Blues themed. It was called the Blue Note. I was hoping for like some
like the general like genre of music or the hockey team.
The hockey team.
Okay.
Which I was like, okay. So we're at a hockey bar and they had like plugs and I needed to charge my phone. I'm like, whatever. Then I get off the flight and I'm back in San Antonio at about 3:30 Central, and I get out the airplane and it's 98. I'm like, welcome back, baby.
Ew.
Oh, it hurt. But it was like, I'm home. It was like it just blast right in the face of 98 degrees.
Glad to have you back.
You know the song?
Back safe and sound.
Okay.
Yeah, here if you get blasted with 98 degrees, that means that someone's listening to some throwback music.
That's right, man. You're a big Nick Lachey fan.
Beth, how are you?
Sleepy, but otherwise good. It was awesome just to run around all over the place. After tomorrow, I will have driven to Pittsburgh and back every other day for the past 5 days.
Right.
My Thursday was drive to Pittsburgh, pick up Jordan, turn around, drive back. Then my Friday was don't drive to Pittsburgh. Saturday was drive to Pittsburgh, go see the brawl, drive back. Today, no driving to Pittsburgh. Tomorrow, return to Pittsburgh to drop Jordan off at the airport, then drive back. 2 hours one way each time.
I'm worth driving to Pittsburgh 3 times, is what you're telling me.
Yep. I don't know about 4, but 3
No,
I'm
4
willing
too
to
much.
do.
Gone. Too much. Not allowed. Pitt Girl, how are you?
I'm good. I had a very pleasant trip on the turnpike in both directions, which is not super common. Can't complain about that. Obviously, I got to see you lovely folks. I got to see all of my other Pittsburgh people, like all of them, because one of my friends from college, I always forget that his birthday is September 11th. And then I'm consistently in town over his birthday weekend. And he's like, hey, I saw on Snapchat that you're here. Do you want to come to my birthday party? Yes. Yes, I do.
How could you forget September 11th, Pitt Girl?
I know. I'm a terrible friend.
I feel like of all the birthdays, that's the one that should sink in the most.
I know. I know. Do you think I have not thought this?
Why do you hate America?
It's a great question.
And your friend.
I'm not a good friend.
or patriot.
No, really not a good patriot.
Arthur, how are you, sir?
I mean, I'm good. It's always like you think about, going up to a game, like what you're excited about, and like, like the tailgate's going to be great and the game's going to be great. And, I'm going to get to see everyone. But like at a certain point, it just like, it does set in like, man, this all is exhausting. And like, honestly, my biggest takeaway from the weekend is that I have no idea how to talk to children. Like I have such little experience in that, especially recently. Like I worked at an amusement park when I was in college. And like this week, like that's pretty much the last time I've interacted with kids. Like this weekend, I tried to talk, like I was trying to have a conversation with a 7-year-old. And like the thing I tried to talk about was like my health insurance plan and how it works. Like it's not, I want to be clear. It's not like I can't talk to kids because I'm just going to say something like flagrantly inappropriate or something.
No,
it's
not
like,
at all.
man, I just like, I don't know how to have a conversation with someone that's not like, so what do you do for work? Like, how your investments? Like that sort of thing.
Folks, we were at Burgatory after the game, and we were all sitting around the table, and Arthur is sitting between me and Commish's kid. And Arthur's already Arthur's like exhausted. We're all exhausted at this point. We're gulping down water because we're so hot. And Arthur, he's trying his best to make conversation with us. Like, dude, you're giving it the chance. I gotcha. And the problem is I'm turning to Pitt Girl for most of that and just chatting with her. And Arthur, I'm sorry. I left you hanging with a 7-year-old, my friend. I'm sorry.
No, like it's fine.
Don't worry.
It's on me for being like, yeah, like, so the way my HSA works is this.
The
learning
funny
things,
part
though.
of all of this is that I was about to make the suggestion to you that children are just small people, but I think you may have taken that advice too seriously.
Yeah, after like he explained that how his wristwatch gets him lower deductibles on his medical insurance. I just handed my kiddo the phone and put on like Goof Troop. I was like, here you go.
Got it. Good call.
Here's your Fruity Pebbles milkshake. Go to town, kid. Have fun.
Listen, kid, if you're not thinking about your Roth IRA right now, you could be in real trouble.
I need
interest
to check
is
his savings.
I felt like someone out of a commercial, like, because you know how like I feel like in commercials someone will be having a conversation and then someone will just plug like a product where it's like not really appropriate, right? Like especially commercials for like relatively boring things. Like Progressive will have a lot of commercials where it's just like mundane thing happening and then like Flo is there and brings up Progressive insurance. Like honestly, like that's what it felt like to me. It was just like, yeah, like, man, I don't know any of my lines, and I just have these plugs that work for 95% of people I interact with, from like grandparents all the way down to people my age, and I have not had any interactions with people more than like a few years younger than me. Like there are a few people in our Discord who are like still in college or like, like maybe like 19, 20. And that's like the youngest that I think I've interacted with in a long time, just because like no one I spend a lot of time with, like none of my peers, like people my age, have kids that are old enough for me to have a conversation with yet. And none of my extended family,
sure.
like we're all kind of around the same age where like no one has kids that are old enough where you talk to them yet. So yeah, I mean, I'm just like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do if I ever have a kid. Like that's going to
You'll
be,
learn.
I
talk to
promise.
them
I
like they're a
promise you
small
figure it out.
person.
Yeah.
Develop their interest in insurance early so they grow up to
That's
be
right.
a responsible adult.
I can guarantee this. If I ever have kids, they will be very financially literate.
That's right.
I will say
You know,
that.
make sure they have enough insurance for all the stuff they do on Paw Patrol.
I don't
Hazard
know what
insurance.
that is, but sure.
Yes.
I think, folks, the first thing we need to talk about, and the biggest thing to talk about, is the fact that me and these 4 other lovely people were at the Backyard Brawl on Saturday.
And
We
also the
went to
corn
the-
correspondent.
And also
Andrew.
Corn correspondent, absolutely. We
Which-
all got to meet together for the first time, which was amazing. I am currently in Beth House. Beth House is one word. I believe we're going to start calling it that. I have met
That's fine.
Puddles. Puddles is delightful. I have met
Beth House.
we'll call it Mrs. Puddles. We go with Mrs.
Sure.
Puddles. I met Mrs. Puddles, amazing as well. I've met Beth Friend. She's introduced me. They do not hate me. That's always fun.
That's always a win.
And Beth has not kicked me out yet. I assume that's because she knows I'm going home tomorrow, so she's just biding her time.
Finite times are very important, but other than that, no comment.
If this were an indefinite say, hey Beth, I'm just going to stay for a while. Yeah, immediate panic.
I have an appointment with the mortician on Tuesday, so you can't.
Yeah, I can come along. Hey, I can come along. You have any doctor's appointments I can just come along to and chill with? Dentist
I mean,
appointment I
that's
can just chill with you with?
That's what they did on Seinfeld. Like, hey, I'm going to dentist. You want to tag along?
Mm-hmm. I do want to say a huge thank you to the Hailgate and the whole Pitt community. We chilled at the Pitt Hailgate tailgate. They were absolutely great. I met a bunch of folks from Pitt Twitter that I had been subsumed into because I think I started following Pitt Girl first and then it sort of just exploded. So I know lots of Pitt Twitter.
We do that.
It's like an infection. Yes, it is.
Can I just say the funniest thing about the crossover for me is that like there were a lot of people on like the Pitt side of things that didn't know that like I was doing this. Like it was because I just kind of assumed that like I don't know, like they knew, that like I was one of the people doing this, but I guess not. Like it was news to a lot of them.
There are not as many people as you would think who are aware that I'm doing this either. So, but seriously, special thanks to the Willard Years, the host of the Hailgate, the mayor of Pitt Twitter. It's always a great time. It was an extra great time this year. And his hosting, as always, was excellent. So
now, when I got to Beth's house, Puddles said, well, I'll offer you some jerseys. And he brought me, Beth, about 30.
That seems high, but more than 15.
Yeah. Options in many colors from many years. And I went with the gray Geno Smith jersey from 2012, I believe. Only worn once.
Yep.
And I figured it would stand out. Lo and behold, someone else was wearing the exact same fucking jersey in our section.
Yeah. Also, shout out to section 529. There was a set of stairs right next to Puddles where like 3 different people completely ate it.
Yeah.
One of Beth's brothers got beer like poured on him.
Got beer all over, and we threw
oh no,
we threw the Hailgate towel at not the Hailgate or the Pit towel that they gave you.
Terrible towel. It was our cleanup
walking in,
towel.
we just gave until he
oh,
cleaned
you got
himself
the
off.
student section give out.
Yeah,
We did.
apparently.
Oh,
Well, there's a reason for this that we'll mention in a moment. The
Yeah.
student section came to us for a bit.
Apparently.
And by a bit, you mean like for the entire game in sort of waves, like locusts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we put the kids like in the middle of where we were sitting.
Yes, we had to isolate big time.
It was so much fun to be at this game. I'm so glad we all got to go because it was a wild game that we'll talk about, but also just an opportunity for us all just to sit and talk and be around each other, which is wild. We found out people had legs.
Mhm.
I wasn't even sure that Pitt Girl ever had legs before, but I figured out that Pitt Girl told me that I wasn't as tall as she thought I was, and that hurt my feelings all day long.
I'm sorry.
Suck it, Mark
It's fine, it's
Zuckerberg.
fine.
We have legs.
I have found out that, Beth is just as sarcastic and biting in person as she is on here. It's delightful.
I'm a goddamn delight.
Yes. She is sarcastic.
I don't understand why you would expect anything else.
I don't know.
No, I know.
You think she'd be totally different?
Maybe she's playing a character. I don't know. Or maybe she's doing such good character work she kept it up for 3 fucking days. That'd be really impressive, actually. You're so deep into character.
I'm method, really.
She's a method.
This is a method podcast.
Beth is Daniel Day-Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it for
I've
3 years.
been
as a
subsumed into the character
of Beth.
That's not even her real name.
She has her whole
Beth
family
is being
then on
played
this,
by-
which I'm so impressed.
Beth is being played by Meryl Streep.
Maybe I
So.
spelled my name right on my license. You'll never know.
Whoa.
So we got to the game, we walked over, we got in the stands, and then the brawl begins. And I was promised a weird game with consequences and lots of emotion and energy. And boy, y'all, we got that.
I had a number of people who approached me and were concerned about you guys coming up for the brawl, because they're like, well, what if they come all this way and the game is just dull or like normal or boring? And I was like, I have many concerns about this weekend. That is not among them.
No.
This game doesn't know how to be normal.
No.
Do they not understand we bring that energy? And I feel like just us being there kind of maybe mess with our sickos games of the week picks, because we had all of our energy in one spot, focused on one thing.
That's fair.
And like we pulled all of our
we concentrated it all into one point. Like we had
That's
a
right.
really big magnifying glass, and the
That's
energy is the sun.
Yeah, we
That's right.
could have
So-
for the game day. We could have done the game day thing where we just
Yeah.
like, oh, it just happens. The big game is the one we're at. Like,
Yeah, we could have done that, but this game was, whew.
There are no normal brawls, though.
No.
Like even like the worst thing I think that could have happened is something like last year's brawl, and even that game was immensely stupid. It was just not stupid in a way that I personally found enjoyable.
Yeah, like even the blowout brawls, and we've had a couple, and I've been at them. They're still very dumb, like incredibly dumb. They'll break physics multiple times.
So let's go to the end and tell the story a little backwards, because the end of this brawl is the moment. It's Beth, you're gonna have to roll with this. I know. I'm sorry.
What's the type of
Upset.
ending is this here? What is like the type of ending that we're doing? We're giving the ending away first. But is there? It's like a specific
I believe that's called
It's
Columbo.
narrative deconstruction.
One
This is
moment.
narrative deconstruction.
Rosebud. Now continue.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Now
okay,
we're telling
there's
it.
the end of it. That's what.
At one point, with about, I want to say 3.5 minutes left, this game was 34-24 West Virginia. Pitt fans streaming out there. West Virginia fans waving them a big old goodbye in my section.
Mhm.
And everyone looks super sad.
I observed this in my own section, and I also tweeted. I will admit right now to have tweeted something to the effect of "We're cooked. It's over." Right about then.
Yeah.
No, I see.
But then
I never lost faith, but I will say they're like, being a season ticket holder, you like recognize some of the people you sit around, and like, okay, like I'm gonna see these people every week. Like I'm gonna remember who left early. I know like who in my section left early.
So when this happened and Beth saw all these people streaming out, she turned to me and said, "Do they not know anything about this game? There's still a lot of time left."
Beth, what was the exact quote?
I said, these are child decisions. These are children who do not understand this game.
Yeah.
And then I looked at them and I waved and I said, "Goodbye, babies." Not because I'm taunting them as they're leaving, like, ha ha ha, we're gonna win this game. No, 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 no. No.
Don't leave this game ever.
It was, of
early.
course, right after that Pitt goes on a 5-play drive and launches a 40-yard pass. Because
on
West Virginia-
second and 30.
On second and 30.
Was it actually prevent defense they dropped into? It wasn't prevent, but it was close because they started letting off these little passes, and it was just
no.
No, it was they
Holstein made a
dropped
play.
into the West Virginia defense. That is what happened.
No, I'm gonna say Holstein made a play here because watching what happened, Holstein was about to get sacked again, and was able to just ducked one West Virginia person that had him dead to rights, and then he got away from that. And basically threw one of the perfect passes that I've seen in between two West Virginia defenders who, I mean, probably had to defend a lot longer than they should have had because if that sack happens, that pass doesn't happen. So I feel bad for the West Virginia defensive lineman that was coming like dead to rights, but just was able to like duck it just enough. And I finally kind of understand it. I finally kind of understand when the coach speak term after that. It's like they just made more plays than us because like he's dead to rights. That play's over. That's a sack. But he made a play to keep that play alive. And by doing that, and then kept the play alive, and then bam, like 40-yard touchdown. And then now it's like, touchdown, 3 minutes left on the clock. And now we get to play some fun clock math.
And Jordan turns around and looks at me like he's afraid I'm going to hit him.
It's only because I said something very stupid that I'll get to in a moment before the end of the half that I said you could hit me if it happened. So
to
I was
be
afraid
clear,
it was coming back.
You should explain how my family is behaving at this point.
Oh,
Since you got to watch that entire petri dish.
There is so much despair and despondence here. It is like, oh my God.
Oh, that's so funny. So this touchdown happens, and I look at my friend that I'm sitting with in basically on the other end of the stadium in the other corner along that same sideline that you guys are on. I look at him and I'm like, is this hope? And he's like, shut up! Shut up! Don't even think about it. If you think about it, it'll go away. If you want a glimpse into the Pitt fan mentality.
West Virginia gets the ball back. Okay, let's bleed some clock here. Got a 1-yard run. Got a 3-yard run. Pitt has to blow a timeout here. Okay. And then Garrett Green is sacked. Loss of 11. 2:15 left.
So
we got to kick the ball back.
I was upset that Narduzzi used the timeout here, used the second timeout here. I was mad at this point because there's 2 minutes and 9 seconds left. There's the 2-minute timeout, taboo, tickle, whatever coming.
He definitely just forgot about that.
I kind of feel like he forgot about that too. Cause why would you just let 9 seconds go? You get to keep your 2 timeouts and you're getting the ball back. But I mean, did they need him? No. So, I mean, whatever. I was like, what? Why did he do that? Because I mean, the punt effectively takes that to the 2-minute thing we can't call a 2-minute
warning. 2-minute tickle. Beth, did I not turn around twice and look at you and say 2-minute tickle time?
How would you describe my expression in those moments? What words? Paint me a words
horrified, repelled, disgusted.
Yes.
Lots of big no's. And then, of course, Pitt gets the ball back and does the thing. Marches right back down the field, 77 yards in 1 minute and 27 seconds.
Okay, so I love this. This is a tidbit in the last Pitt drive here that I was a big fan of. So Neil Brown takes his final timeout. It's the 32-yard line. He takes the final timeout. I'm like, okay, now we got some weird clock math that could be happening. But at the same time, Holstein had his helmet fall off. So the Pitt's starting quarterback has to come out the game because of his helmet came off on the previous play. So the backup QB has to come in the game. They're on the 1 yard line, and I'm like, oh shit, some horse shit could happen here.
I was ready for it.
I was ready because I'm like, I was like, okay, so he's in the game. Like, there's no way they're throwing the ball. They're gonna hand the ball off. They gotta hand the ball off.
So here's the thing. I had no concern at all about Nate Yarnell. Not at all.
Did he look... Nate? Okay, we're good.
Yeah, it was Nate Yarnell. Started a couple games last year. He lost the QB battle. Okay. He's not amazing. He's not Eli Holstein, but he's fine. And in that situation,
he won the Sun Bowl, right?
No fear. No, that was
Nick Patty.
Yeah. Okay.
Pitt legend Nick Patty.
The Patty wagon. That's right. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like my thing.
We had lots of QBs to go through last year. I had to learn a lot of names. Okay, there's the Canadian
Nick Patty
one too.
Didn't play last year. He graduated after that Sun Bowl.
Yeah. Pitt,
sorry.
Pitt did have 3 different starting quarterbacks last year, but no, I was like, okay, like that's a handoff, especially when you're just checking a quarterback in for one play before the main guy can come back on the field. I was a little confused though, because West Virginia did take a timeout there. So I was kind of wondering, like, does like another, because I know if you take your own timeout, you can keep your player in the game.
Yes, but I saw on Twitter, because there was some confusion about this among other Pitt fans, and evidently the rule is that if it is only if your own team takes a timeout. Why that rule is the way it is, I do not know, but that is how the rule is, according to Twitter. I also spent this time, I did not think too much about that because I was spending this time texting obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend, who, as regular listeners of the show know, does not like football. But when I'm not home, he watches the game so he can emotionally torture me. And
that's what partnership is, folks.
That is a really good boyfriend right there.
Hey Pitt Girl, when are you starting your relationship podcast?
Truly, we've been together 12 years. This shit works great. And I am busy dealing with a text from him that says something to the effect of, what do you do if it's 4th down? And I'm just like, we're not thinking about this right now. I don't have the emotional bandwidth to think about this right now.
One play at a time.
I am getting tortured at this point by my best friend, who sent a text message that said, hey, he's like, don't worry, I'm ahead of you in the broadcast. It all turns out okay.
That's so mean. Oh my God.
Like, he apologized later. He felt so bad about it.
That's so funny.
So I had this gut drop of, is this going to be overtime brawl? Which, like, that opportunity came up all of a sudden, and who knows
screw up our dinner reservation.
I would have died. I would have just died.
Yeah, my kiddo was not doing well. He was like, in the third quarter, halfway, he's like, how much time till we can go on the field? That's all he wanted. And I was like, well, I mean, he got to go on the field after the game, which was great. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, once they scored the touchdown, which was, to go ahead, it's 38-34. I'm like, there's 32 seconds left. There's some brawl left. What? And like, I'm not even
incomplete pass, interception.
No. Attempted interception. Like interception. Garrett Green was trying so fucking hard to give us the ball on that drive.
He's throwing the ball 20 yards down the field. And I'm like 20 to 30 yards down the field. I'm like, you don't need to do this. You have 32 seconds. Like, get a first down.
But but throwing the ball 20 yards down the field into problematic coverage that was the plan.
I mean,
so are you saying that's a bad plan? That's not the plan you would have used?
No,
really?
I mean, you could look like one play over the middle, like 15 yards. That's 7 seconds. Spike the ball. You're at 25. Again, then another one. If you want to hit the middle again, spike the ball. You're kind of within Hail Mary range at this point. So, I mean, all you're really trying to do at that point is to get in Hail Mary range. And then maybe something crazy happens because it is the Backyard Brawl. But it just seemed like he was just going for the corner route that's like 30 yards. And then finally on 4th down, he throws it over the middle and like 9 Pitt players are surrounding the ball.
Yeah.
This game, yeah. So this one ends up 38-34. Now
And we didn't even talk about the really stupid thing.
Yeah,
so
the rest of the game was
let's
totally
go back
normal.
to that. So
Okay.
there is a 2-minute stretch in here, listeners, that is art. And it starts with this. West Virginia needs to punt the ball. This is in the second quarter, I believe. It's before half, yes. West Virginia needs, or is it third?
Early
it's
third.
third quarter.
Early
The,
third.
the
Okay.
second half was where it fully went off the rails.
Because it was tied 17-17. It
Right.
had been competitive, back and forth, fun, but nothing super crazy in the first half. Pitt got a pick.
Yeah, I mean, the pick was very weird.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Pitt has that the ball goes up, the ball goes down. He catches the ball. That was fun.
That was,
That's
yeah.
right.
That's the moment I realized
Beth
when.
looked at me like, like, oh crap, we did this. That was.
It's
She
gonna
looked
be
at
one
me
of
like, oh
those.
crap, we're here. This is gonna happen now. All right.
Yep.
That like first half, right? Like it was back and forth. It was like fairly competitive. The second half, just like that was when stuff got really weird. Like we talked about like, you know, that second half Pitt's offense did not move the ball at all until like 4 minutes left. Like they really just waited the entire time. And I have an idea. Like I want to try to get some sort of a metric here or something for like teams that leave stuff until the last minute the most. I don't have a name for it or anything like that.
This is your cramming. This is the cramming for your
Procrastination
test.
I'm
Cramming for
Putting
your
the
test.
pro in
Yeah.
procrastination.
Yeah, like I'm saying some metric. I don't know if it's like what percentage of your points were scored in the fourth quarter or like who has the highest percentage of their points scored in like the last 5 minutes. Something like that. But just because like I feel like we've seen it both with like teams making comebacks, but also with teams like where it's close and then you're like, oh, like, well, they scored a bunch at the end and the final score looks bigger. But I don't know. I feel like we could have some sort of metric for that.
It's like the inverse of coast.
Yes. So we're talking about the second drive of the third quarter, basically, and
Oh yeah.
we're going through. West Virginia's driving, and all of a sudden, West Virginia needs to punt, and their punter gets the snap, takes a couple of steps, realizes Pitt has sent no one to block the ball. Every defender has turned and run. And Beth looks at this and tells me, have you ever seen this before? Because the dude takes like 4 slow punter steps and then
It
just
looks like
keeps
he's
walking.
going to punt. Yeah.
And then just kept walking forward for 12 yards.
By the way, my kiddo, this was his favorite play of the game.
This is my favorite
Yeah.
play of the game.
this was. It wasn't like a fake punt. It was just kind of like the punter was like, "Why is there nobody around?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get the first down.
This is my moment to shine.
This is like,
Yeah.
My
you know-
friend sitting next to us called it the run kick option.
That's what it kind of felt like. It was like, hey, this is my rugby style punt, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm actually gonna keep this one for a first down.
So then we keep going. 2nd and 6, continuing the drive. 1st and 10, run a little bit. 2nd and 6. Garrett Green, bomb to the end zone. Touchdown, West Virginia.
Woo!
However,
Not so fast, my friend.
not so fast, my friend. Holding comes back. Okay. 2nd and 16, no. 3rd and 16, no.
I didn't even know what. I know people were just like furious at us in the replies. There was no holding, and I'm like, I can't do anything about penalties. Just yell. Fine, yell at us in the replies.
Who
and it
are you
makes me feel
yelling
better.
to? Yelling to the ether, folks.
I just
Hey,
yell at
guys,
us.
new
It's fine.
idea. Website where you can type in your complaint and it goes
about the
nowhere.
Rebels?
Hit send and it just does nothing.
Oh,
Goes
just
to
that
the-
scream into the void.
Twitter.com.
It is Twitter already, right?
I mean,
I know, but then I don't
think,
have to see it.
I think you
Okay,
can use
yeah,
any
true.
website like that.
Yeah.
Like I could use the website we're recording right now like that.
Does 4chan have a place to yell at things like this? 4chan might be a good place for you guys.
No,
Don't
don't
look at me
encourage
like that.
people to use that.
No, we're not encouraging anything there.
Go to we'll create a subreddit. Just yell.
Okay, that I like.
There you go.
We get to 4th and 11 and West Virginia goes for a kick. Well, this time Pitt brings the house and they get the block. They get the block.
And then what happened?
And they run it back for a fucking touchdown.
This
it was
is
the
my favorite
most
play of the game.
I get a message from Pitt Girl going, I'm gonna throw my voice out. I'm gonna sound like shit. I don't care.
Yep. I spent that play jumping up and down, screaming. No words, just screaming. Like at the top of my lungs, just screaming like I was being murdered, but so happy. And I want to take this moment also to say that I noticed during the Kent State game that our punt team was getting a lot of push on punt attempts. And I was like, we are going to block at least one this season. Call my shot.
That look,
Beth, do you want to describe, Beth, how it was over on our side of the stadium? Those 2 minutes of plays.
It was like you get the sort of like the incredulous joy of the fake punt. You get the yay, we scored a touchdown, like jumping up and down and joyful. And Commish is next to me. He's like, there's a flag. And I'm like, damn it. So like sit back down, be sad now. And then it's like,
No.
well.
Like it was like the celebration. I was like, and then I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw the flag on the ground. I was like, shit, there's a flag.
Like then we get the blocked punt. And the reaction among my fam and like among those of us around was a blend of like, God damn it, and like, yep, of course.
That's basically that. I was trying to stay neutral as much as possible in this game, and I appreciate Beth teaching my kiddo the West Virginia like first down cheer thingies. I think he
Did you appreciate the West Virginia fans teaching your kid to say "eat shit pit"?
Which was great because which was awesome because when at the end of the third quarter came around with the Sweet Caroline singing, both Pitt students and the West Virginia fans, what they said, like canceled each other out. So it was just a bunch of mumbled stuff. And the kiddo couldn't make out what they were saying. And I was like, I don't know what they're saying either.
Something Pitt. It's fine.
Something Pitt. And it's like, they're really cheering for Pitt over here. But there was one dude in section 529 that was just wanting to kill people. And it's the first play of the game.
Yep.
And he did not make it through the first quarter, I don't think.
I don't think so.
It got quiet after that, which was nice.
It was interesting because we were sitting on the very shaded side of the stadium and the Pitt student section, the zoo, was in the sun.
Small point of correction. The football student section is the Panther Pit.
The zoo is basketball only, yes.
What was the name of the DJ in the Panther Pit? I couldn't remember.
I have no idea. That is a new thing.
Student section had a DJ. That's great.
It is worth noting because I saw a ton of people who were blasting like attendance at this game. That sun was brutal.
Yes.
And anyone who was like, all the pictures that you will see are of the sunny side of the field.
Yep.
They were cramming human beings into the shaded areas of it and like onto like the shady, like roundy walkways like crazy. Everyone who could get out of the sun was getting out of the sun.
Yes. I was on the shaded side and I still was like baking.
That's like a normal thing with this stadium. Like whenever you see the shot on TV, like the TV cameras point towards the side that's going to be the emptier side every time.
Yeah, automatically. The other side completely full.
I had at least 12 different people sit next to me in the course of this game. Like various students that would come in and just someone else would like bump out of their seats and someone else would roll in.
What about
so we had a lot of the students mixing up with us too.
What about the Pitt baseball jersey guy that kept forgetting to go to the wrong side like 900 times?
Oh, and every time we saw him, it had one fewer button.
One button on his baseball jersey just kept going. I just called him Antonio Banderas Pitt fan because he just kept going one more button
with two Miller Lights. Two fucking Miller Lights every time.
Every single time.
The last time he walked by us was like on the last West Virginia drive. This happened literally the entire game. And we were down to one button at that point.
I'm sorry. I came this way. It's like, no, Antonio Banderas.
I think he thought he was annoying us. I was endlessly entertained by this person.
But I must.
It was like one of those like loop things where like the time loop keeps repeating. I have to look for the break in the loop to break my reality.
I'm trying to figure out like the fingerprint whorl pattern in his chest hair.
I had a couple different people sitting next to me too. Not as many different people as you guys, because I was not in a section adjacent to the student section.
Oh God, it was
Honestly,
fine and
hearing all of
normal.
this is making me really regret not sitting with you
I
guys.
saw like so many people eat it in our section. I saw like girls like wearing like bodysuits, and you just saw like a scrape on their leg from when they ate it in the stadium.
Yes.
Like just
ladies, we got to talk about, and I need ladies, we got to talk about this structural integrity of your tube tops. We got to put some like whalebone or something in there.
Yeah, it's important. You need to think about the realities of like gravity and like how something wears over the course of a day.
Mhm.
You know,
If
like
you're gonna if you're on camera, you're gonna jump because you're happy.
absolutely, and we're thrilled for you. But if after you've decided to cavort, you look like a beanbag chair that fell down a flight of stairs, things have come unglued. And I say this as a friend.
Now, Pitt Girl, I want to say that my favorite experience. This has never happened to me before, because I've been to away games, but never ones that were like rivaled, whatever. And again, I was wearing a West Virginia jersey here, so for all anyone new, West Virginia fan, I was yelled at and told to go the fuck home on the way out. It was so exciting. Someone screamed in my face, told me get the fuck away. And it was great. I was smiling from ear to ear. I wanted to hug him and tell him thank you. This is part of the experience.
You have understood the experience correctly. This is perfect.
My kiddo had a vintage Dan Marino, like 1990s jersey, Dolphins jersey, and I think he was the only one that could walk across both sides.
Yes.
Because West Virginia fans are like, Dan Marino, yes. Pitt fans, Dan Marino, yes. It wasn't a Pitt Dan Marino jersey, so it was amazing. It worked out a ton, and I mean, he was happy because like people would walk by and compliment him on his jersey. That's an awesome jersey, and so he was just like beaming. So that was fantastic.
I just want to take a second to shout out one of the couple people who sat in the seat next to me. I don't know why that seat ended up rotating. But the guy who was sitting next to me for a while who was wearing a Miami of Ohio t-shirt. Shout out to that guy. Why was he here? Why was he wearing a Miami of Ohio t-shirt? I don't know, but I respect it.
It was a big day for Ohio branded teams at the Brawl.
True.
Jordan, would you like to tell us about the guy in front of us?
Yeah, Youngstown State man. Youngstown State man was the one that yelled at me and told me to fuck off. He was wearing a Youngstown State hat. And a
Youngstown
Pittsburgh
State man was having a bad day, to be fair.
So he had a Youngstown State hat on and then a Pitt shirt on. But it was
Just a
the
week
older
early.
Pitt. It was the older Pitt. It was the like the Wanstead Pitt.
Oh, so when you say older Pitt, you mean the Pitt that
Block
lost
Pitt.
to Youngstown State?
Yes.
So that
Even
was,
when you
and
have
that
joy, you
dude
can't
was
have
like-
joy.
And this was a dude who I had interacted with politely earlier in the game. Like he was standing during the band. I was like, hey, buddy, can you sit down? We're trying to watch the bands. He's like, oh, sure, no problem. And that turned so fast that by the end of the game.
Like that game hit triple zeros, and this guy is like, I have stored it
Fuck
all
off.
up like a battery.
Fuck it. Go away. Fuck off home. Fuck off. It was.
The year releases his rage.
It was impressive.
We then are trying to get down to the field after the game to let Commish's kid kick the ball around, walk around, say some things. And we go down and we end up in the student section release. And we're trying to get through there. And we end up sort of just body blocking the kid and going single file in. And then we're down the field and it's delightful. We got to see the Pitt band, hang out with the West Virginia band, got to see everyone packing up, got to run around the field. Thank you, Pitt Athletics, for letting us do this. It was great. I got a picture that Katie bitched about was blurry.
Yeah. EJ, I'm sure you're not listening, but thank you. You are wonderful. Bleed Pitt. We know you bleed Pitt. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, just to get the kiddo on the field, he threw the ball around a couple times. He ran across the entire field. He ran all the way to the end zone and back. I tossed the ball with him on the field for a little bit, took a bunch of photos. We also took, group photos with and without him at the same time, which was amazing. I want to go over some stats real quick in this game. So
Please do.
there
This
was
normal game. Okay.
this normal game. So Pitt's record when trailing, record when trailing by +10 in the fourth quarter this year. Pitt 2-0.
Mhm.
Everybody else 4-105.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't tend to work out for anybody else, but Pitt, they've done it 2 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, Pitt hadn't done this, like their record in these games for like the past decade, winless. And I think
0-72.
0-72.
Between 2015 and last year,
And
in
now
games where we trailed by 10 points or more. And so,
And
like,
now-
can you blame the people who left early? But also, I hope you learned something.
Learn.
You learned something.
And it's
Well,
the
maybe they were-
Eli Holstein era now.
That's right.
Oh.
Talk about
Ooh.
Did they leave earlier? That's the consequences. But that was really bad. God, I can't even
Yeah,
believe
good,
I went
fair.
there. Okay, all right. Don't name he's gonna name the podcast that. It's just, and then
I was gonna name it at like a beanbag chair that fell down the stairs.
okay, that worked out. That worked out too. Second half plays at one point in the second half. West Virginia had 37. Pitt had 11. West Virginia had 228 yards in the second half. Pitt had 4. And this was before Pitt got the ball back. Down 10. Then after that stat was posted, Pitt goes and gets a touchdown in 5 plays, 75 yards. Never having a third down at all. West Virginia goes 3 and out in punts. They go 6 plays, 77 yards for a touchdown. No third down either. They didn't hit third down in any of those drives, which I don't know where this came from.
They should go play in the CFL.
They should. Pat Narduzzi, CFL head coach. Who's he coaching?
We're just taking Pitt and we're moving them
Ooh,
to the CFL.
okay.
We're just going to take
Pitt
it and
to the
push it over
CFL.
there.
That's
Okay.
right. That'll work. They need another East team, right?
I would like to say, of course, that both teams on third down were awful. I don't know if you saw this. Pitt was 1 for 8 on third downs, and West Virginia was 3 for 14. It was just like shambles. It was either first or second or nothing at all. Just if it got to third, done, dead. It was
Pretty much dead.
It was beautiful. At one point, Pitt had, I think, like 10 rushing yards as well. Pitt's run game was just nothing for huge parts of this game. It was it was our Moo Cowboy and nothing else.
I mean, the big thing that I noticed about Pitt that stuck out more than anything was the offensive line did not have a great game. Like they got beat pretty consistently, and they couldn't give Holstein a pocket for very long. They could not create any lanes for running backs. And really, I think what kind of changed it when they got inside that 4-minute mark in the fourth quarter, they started having some success, was just that, that Holstein moved more, and he would just, I don't know whether it was just the urgency that then made him like, okay, I'm going to, scramble for some yards here, but just be him moving around and kind of, they were never able to block straight up, but just kind of by not having to block straight up, moving where the quarterback was more consistently, it kind of, very as a last ditch effort, right? Like not like design runs or anything, but that was just kind of what opened things up a bit more for the offense.
The other stat that I'd like to mention is Pitt penalties. 12 for 112 yards. Woof.
If you were wondering how we ended up with 2nd and 30, that was how. That shit was exhausting.
I mean, and that was on back-to-back holding penalties because, again, like the offensive line just could not keep the pocket clean. I will add, Pitt, another penalty announced today because of a quote from Pat Narduzzi after the game. He said that Pitt beat West Virginia and also the officials. For that, Pitt was fined a huge sum of $5,000.
Any fine that we could easily cover from our account
Speak for yourself.
is not a real fine.
I think she's talking about the corporate account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're good there. I was just talking personally. I mean, even though like it was funny, I looked it up. I did some math. $5,000. Like if you just take Pat Narduzzi's what we think his salary is and divide that up into 365, like Pat Narduzzi makes more than twice that amount in a day. This is if you go by his salary that we think it is. This is basically the equivalent of someone finding me like $70.
We literally took his lunch money.
Yeah.
So I would just say I made a joke that he'd buy the bar at Primanti Brothers, and so $5,000 if he would like just buy a day's worth of sandwiches, that's 334 Primanti Brothers sandwiches the entire day. They're basically, if I do it at about $15 a piece, depending on what you get. But yeah, that's not much. But that's worth it because he got an awesome quote at the end of the game.
I love this degree of hate and ass Pat. This is one of my favorite things that he does. He's a jagoff, but he's our jagoff, and I love that for us. Also, Pitt Athletics, if you're listening, I really do think that you should open some sort of fundraiser for this. You'll probably raise a hell of a lot more than $5,000, and we kind of need the money to pay off Victory Heights. So, go do that. KK.
As for West Virginia, things are really great here. And the last that I heard as of 6 hours ago, Neil Brown and our director of athletics, Ren Baker, have met about the future of the program. So things are cool and things are good.
I saw that the defensive coordinator deactivated his Twitter account.
Oh, no.
One of the coordinators deactivated his Twitter account.
It's fine.
It was really interesting for me thinking about the implications of this game because Pitt is a team Pitt and West Virginia both came into this game not exactly feeling great, I don't think, long term. And when you think about how close this game was, I mean, I will fully say I think this is a game that Pitt was lucky to win. I'm not saying I doubt it or think they thought they couldn't do it. I'm saying they were lucky.
But West Virginia, in fairness, West Virginia outplayed Pitt in this game and lost it anyway, which is that is classic Brawl.
Yes.
The number of times I've watched Pitt outplay West Virginia and lose this game. That is a song I know well.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is at least in my lifetime of the brawls that I've been aware of, I feel like it's always been West Virginia wins pretty handily or Pitt steals one somehow. I'm not sure when the last time Pitt won the brawl where it was just they went in and it wasn't it was oh, this is a much better team. But just think about the trajectories of the programs, right? You think about kind of how fluky this is, but programs are in different directions based off of this, right? If this is something, you have a result where it probably shouldn't be a definitive referendum in certain ways, but it very much will be. Pitt is at a point, I came into this season kind of thinking I don't know where they're going, but now Pitt, they get Youngstown State next week. So if they can win that game, you're going into ACC play, which ACC has had a lot of teams not look great so far. And you're thinking, man, how many games even in ACC play would they need to win for the season to be a success? How open is the ACC? And you look at West Virginia, and I thought they played pretty well. They looked pretty good. It didn't look like a complete team. There were certain areas of the team, not great, but then they're going into Big 12 play. And for them, it's oh boy, Big 12, that can be kind of tough. And it's just wild to me to think that, at the end of the day, I think this game is going to have a really big impact on kind of where both programs grow, despite, being kind of a weird result.
Yeah. I mean, so Pitt has already exceeded last year's win total.
Well, they've matched it.
Or they've matched last year's win total. And I am saying if here because Pitt be Pitt, right? But if they beat Youngstown State next week, it will be the first time that Pitt has gone undefeated in non-con ever. So that'll be exciting, hopefully. Knock wood. And I don't know what I would have been happy if we made a bowl game. And now I think we can win significantly more than 6 games, potentially, because the ACC is a big bag of question marks. So vibes are good. And also, we can't afford to fire Pat now if we wanted to anyway. And I don't want to.
Maybe West Virginia laid this ultimate trap by letting you win this game. It now gives you hope and expectations.
I don't have any
And
expectations. I'm just
and
happy.
those could be well. I mean, you got a little hope now.
It's true.
Okay, so maybe that's what it was. Look on the bright side, WVU fans. Their hopes and dreams could be crushed. They didn't have any before. Now they do.
Bill Connolly's post-game win expectancy. Basically, the percentage of games that you would win with those stats if you played that game again. And the post-game win expectancy for this game was 4.9%. So if those games were played again and Pitt and West Virginia had those stats, Pitt would win this game 4.9% of the time. That is so basically beautiful.
five times out of 100, they win this game.
Yep. And of course,
and we were there for one of those 5 times.
Yep.
We should make these all play 100 times in a year. If we made these teams play 100 times in a year, just to get the statistical sample.
Dude, this was the 107th brawl. Can you imagine doing more than one of these a year? Everyone would die. We would all be dead. I was like, my hands were shaking for a good half an hour after the game anyway. I would have a heart attack at some point, probably around game 10.
Just one full year of nothing but brawls. Oops, all brawl.
This is how we die. This is how we all die.
Okay, let's do some ads. Well, first off, before I do that, I'll just say something sincere for a moment. It was amazing to see you guys. It was so much fun. We had a great time, and it was the best weekend I've had in a long time. It was great. So thank you so much, Pittsburgh. Thank you, Hailgate. Thank you, people on this account that listened to us and made this possible. Thank you, people whose faces I'm staring at. Thank you, Beth, who is upstairs in that direction. It was great.
I'm waving at you down the stairs.
I'm waving at you.
It was a blast to meet everybody in person. And, I'm going to thank the patrons for helping us out do that. Because, without y'all, probably, it'd be a lot more difficult to meet. So we met up. We were able to pull it off. And, we look forward to doing more of these in the future. Maybe something that will allow Beth and Pitt Girl to relax during the game and not have a heart attack. Maybe like a neutral game, or maybe SickoCon at the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid, where Jordan wants to get T-shirt guns and T-shirt cannons when you walk in the door. So look out.
Is there such a thing as a T-shirt mortar?
Ooh. Oh, I'm just imagining the sound. Thump. And it's a T-shirt.
Commish suggested that we launch search into the crowd. I was like, no, we're going to shoot them directly into your stomach as you walk in from point blank range.
Okay, and then I suggested we need a waiver.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know anything about that being dangerous in real life, but I do know that on the TV show The Simpsons, that can be fatal, so...
Yes, rest in peace, Maude.
Noted documentary, The Simpsons.
That's right.
I'm sure Puddles can come up with some sort of a legal document that absolves us of responsibility.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I just want to add, not only did we all get to meet each other, but we did get to meet a number of people, some people who are patrons, patrons, some people who listen to the podcast, lots of people who interact with us on Twitter, and it was cool that we got to meet everyone at this game. Obviously there's 130 some FBS teams, even more, there's no way we're gonna be able to hit up everybody like CFB Campus Tour, but if maybe sometime we'll get to your team is what I'm saying. No promises, nothing like that, but we want to. That's not a question.
Shout out to Andre the Giant. Shout out to the Willard Years. Shout out to man, there's so many, the Duquesne fan. I forgot his name again.
Shout out to Firak and Yak. Friends of the show.
Friends of the show.
Mine,
shout out to them.
Also.
Shout out to Duquesne for winning this weekend too, with a nice little upset victory.
Yep. Shout out to Dylan from IUP who came and said hi.
Yeah, if I forgot somebody, and then I mean Andrew.
Shout out to Candy, Teal Connection Haver.
Yeah, that was wild.
The corn correspondent. He's still in a hotel on hotel Wi-Fi, and he didn't have any recording material or like equipment. So,
but he did take my favorite photo of us of the entire thing.
Oh, the one on the. Was that the one where it's like far away?
Zapruder film.
Yes, the Zapruder film.
Far distance.
That's right. Home is where yins are. So that's all I gotta say.
Folks, if you like what we do, check out our link tree on our Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky profiles for various discounts on things. Join our Patreon, get access to our Discord for $5 a month. Get to participate in our weekly ratings debates, live chat during games during the season, see the inner workings of what happens. You get to talk about our weird research, to make suggestions, things like that. When you get subscribed to the Patreon, you also get access to different podcasts, including Commish's Corner, Yes, Rah, 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 Yes, and the Prairie View Chronicles. Beth and I have new ideas immediately from spending so much time together, so we'll have plenty of that coming up as well. Go to our merch store, find things like koozies, shirts, magnets, wine glasses. That's at sickoscommittee.org. We also have a YouTube, an Instagram, and a Twitch. We have our Substack. Find that out. Shout out to Message Board Geniuses podcast. They go to places we refuse to go because in those places, they're calling for Rich Rod to return to West Virginia.
No, after what happened this week, Smoking Musket was like, I'm glad because Jacksonville State's 0-3 now.
He'll be cheap. He'll be cheap now. Also,
I've heard that. I've also heard like the front runner for the West Virginia job would be Jimbo Fisher. So that's where I am.
Hey, he could coach.
I forgot about free. Jimbo.
You wouldn't have to pay him. You wouldn't have to pay him. He can coach for free.
Between that and the people who are like, I bet we could get Saban off a game day.
It's great.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to mute myself and keep cackling. Y'all have fun.
My God.
We have our home build apparel for the softest, comfiest shirts that you can imagine. All sorts of collegiate gear, pants as well. They have lots of stuff. Hoodies, jackets. I see what is that, a Kansas shirt, Pitt Girl?
It's Kansas.
It's Kansas. Beth is wearing the Sad Husky. Commish is wearing Slippery Rock. I'm not wearing home field right now. But if I were, it would be one of the other shirts I brought, including so because Beth and I have been hanging out, we've had to double check to make sure we're not wearing the same thing every day because I brought a lot of the same shirts she owns. One day, we almost both double wore the Gooey Duck shirt.
That would be a powerful shirt to double up on.
It would have been a great bit for both of you to show up at the Hailgate in that shirt.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
We might need to do that at some point. That's good. That was
pretty good. Yeah. I'm just sad that you saw all the Commish will back me up on this. I got nice comments about my leggings the whole way through the game. People said nice things about my leggings the whole time. And Jordan, I offered you could have had your very own pair of leggings and you turned me down.
She left them for me she left them for me on the floor, being like, hey, Jordan, if you want to wear these. I think I figured out it would have been.
You're not a pet. I put it.
No, sorry.
I folded them nicely and I put them on the counter in the bathroom just in case.
The concept of me trying to get one of those around a single leg would have been funny enough. I felt like that morning a little bottomless male humor was not what was called for. I'm just gonna say that. Home field apparel, of course. If you like what they have, and you should, use offer code yes, yes, 3 HAs for 15% off your first order. And right now we have our Sickos hat showcase going along. Florida State, Georgia Tech, Penn State, West Virginia. We also have, yes, ma'am.
Look at what Arthur is showing us.
Oh,
he's got
Georgia.
He's got the coach's jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, the Pitt coach's jacket.
It's
very
too
nice.
hot. It's too hot for me to even put it on for 5 seconds just to show it off. But trust me, I have it. It looks good. You can see it here, not on my body. You can see it on my body in I don't know, a couple weeks at least, looking at the 10-day forecast.
And this week we dropped our Bayou Bucket Classic Rice hat and Houston hat. All those hats are on sale as long as they exist. Use offer code yes, yes. That's 2 hats for 25% off your first order, even if you've already ordered from them before. This gives you the chance to get a big discount on a great looking hat.
I think we have Arizona State and Texas Tech this week.
Nice.
Okay, it's time to commit. 2024 is the year for prioritizing yourself. Begin your new smile journey with Byte, and you could start seeing results in just 2 to 3 weeks. Just order your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95 at Byte.com. Byte clear liners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer financing options, accept eligible insurance, and you could pay with your HSA, FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
Hey, Prime members! Have you heard? You can listen to your favorite podcasts ad-free? Good news! With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free podcasts. That's amazon.com/ad-free podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Folks, because we talked about the Brawl and we knew we were going to do this, we've been saying this the last day to each other. We're just going to talk about the Brawl for a while. We're not going to cover every game in the second half. We're going to cover a couple that are interesting for various reasons. If we don't get to yours, it's not because it wasn't great. It was just because we got time. Let's talk about our game of the week. It is 10,000 miles of hate. Jesus Christ. 100 miles of hate. Mitsu and Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky drops
10,000
Western Kentucky
miles.
drops the hammer on them.
I would like to propose that we name UMass Hawaii 10,000 miles of hate.
No, okay. So there wasn't really much of a hammer being dropped in the first half. So I'm just going to read the play chart for the first half. Middle Tennessee, 9 plays, 59 yards, 5 minutes, 2 seconds, turnover on downs. Western Kentucky, 12 plays, 60 yards, 5 minutes, 17 yards, touchdown. Middle Tennessee, 3-and-out punt. Touchdown again. Western Kentucky, it's 14-0. Then Middle Tennessee gets the ball on the 25-yard line. 7 plays, 74 yards. Turnover on downs on the 1-yard line.
Love it.
Then Western Kentucky goes 10 plays, 62 yards, turnover on downs. Then Middle Tennessee goes 8 plays, 50 yards, interception. Then
Jesus Christ.
To essentially end the half, Western Kentucky goes 11 plays, 99 yards, and 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Touchdown. 21-0. The Hilltoppers roll. This was an incredible game, stats-wise. All of the passers in the game, for both teams combined, 936 yards passing. All of the passers went 55 for 68. There were only 13 incompletions in the game. Only 1 interception. The starter for Western Kentucky, Caden Veldkamp, went 27 for 30 for 398 and 5 TDs.
Whew.
It's just incredible amount of stats here. So while the scoreboard doesn't show the sickosness of it, both teams had over 500 yards of offense total. It was insane. There was 1,144 yards of offense in this game. Nuts.
I will say for our listeners, if you're on Twitter and you don't follow, not the Winning Western Kentucky account, which is a good follow Western Kentucky Recruiting. Their graphic designer follows us and she does some absolutely amazing work. This week she had My Little Ponies, little Mitsu My Little Ponies up on a box on the shelf. It was very good stuff. Other games, Virginia and Maryland. Commish?
So basically, I got on this one is it was 14-13, but Virginia could not get that lead to put him in, get that score to put him in the lead. So Anthony Calandria could not kill off September Maryland. So September Maryland is back. They win the game 27-13. Even though the final score, like they just kind of pulled away at the end. We'll go to the next one. UMass at Buffalo, Pete Lem Buffalo, 34-3. Stop trying to make this happen. I don't care. This is for me. I'm gonna keep calling him Pete Lem Buffalo. Y'all don't have to join.
It's not. No, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
It's for me.
Commish, do you wear pink on Wednesdays?
I Am I supposed to?
If you're trying to make fetch happen, you probably should.
Okay, but it's
You
not the
can't sit with
perfect
us
date.
if you don't wear pink on Wednesdays.
It's not the perfect date, so whatever.
The different movie.
I don't know.
The
Whatever.
There used to be a shirt somewhere that had the wear pink on Wednesdays, and it's just pink Pokemon.
Mm.
And it's I should have bought that shirt when I was out. This
yeah,
is the
on
one
Wednesdays
that
we dress like Ditto. Don't
Just
worry,
dead
Commish, I'll go
Ditto
get a
eyes.
picture for you.
No, I know Ditto because he did the mascots like Ditto.
the game that I was most surprised about when I started looking at scores in the bits where my phone did work was Indiana at UCLA. Indiana travels to the Rose Bowl and gets I'm going to call this a Rose Bowl win for them. Can we just
They won the
call
Rose
it
Bowl.
that?
Done it. They did it. Don't get technical here. This is like Rich Rod being at Michigan.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
very much Indiana wins, Indiana Rose Bowl win asterisk, and you just post it.
Indiana Rose Bowl win like 7,000 asterisks again.
Tiny font
Tiny
in the Rose
font
Bowl.
in the Rose Bowl in a regular season.
There was
game
no
again.
moment where this game looked close. UCLA just got their faces shoved into the ground by Indiana. It ends up being 42-13, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel our friends at Home Field Apparel, huge Indiana fans. I feel the 9 Indiana energy coming back because
they're starting
Signetti's
to
got them
post like
rolling
it already. They're posting like their pictures of, and I do have a 9 Indiana shirt. So I do have that. So I mean, they're posting it. They're going.
Since we were bringing up like things we could see while our score was good, additional shout out to plaintextsports.com,
Oh, yeah.
which saves me on many a game day. Friends, if you
Mhm.
find yourself at a game with no signal, they are here to save you.
Yeah, Plain Text Sports is just basically it's
It
awesome.
is a text-based score app that's like 50 kilobytes.
Yeah, it basically works every time. It saved a ton and it helped us keep up, even though we couldn't get tweets out on a consistent basis while we're in the stadium.
Yeah,
What if LSUfootball.net had scores on it?
Yeah,
we got to come up with something like, you know how we like the president has the designated survivor when they do like the State of the Union. We got to just be something like that, but like at least one person needs to have cell service.
Designated tweeter. There must always be.
So
a
we would
sicko
have had to
on
put
Twitter.
we'd have had to put one in the press box. That's how we had to do.
Mm.
Would have been fine.
And leave puddles, never.
a game that we ranked very lowly, but I do want to talk about, or did we even rank this one? I don't know if we ranked it.
No, we ranked it.
Team
It
Rocket
was in
showed
the-
up.
in the
Team
advisory.
Rocket showed up in Starkville.
Yeah.
Team Rocket
they did.
blasted
Jordan,
off in Starkville.
Have we done this Photoshop? I need this Photoshop so bad.
I'll get
I
you on
need
this.
Jesse and James, but like Toledo.
Got it. Oh, got it. Hey, throw it in the chat.
I'll put it on the vision
I
board.
want to give a shout out to this one person who flew with me from San Antonio to Nashville to Pittsburgh wearing a Toledo shirt on Friday. So I felt like that was
They had
good
a great
omen.
weekend.
They had a fantastic weekend. And so that was, I mean, it wasn't even close. Like the Toledo blew them out. And I had it on my radar.
41-17, not close.
I was like, can Toledo do this? Can Toledo? And everyone's like, no. And I'm like, I don't know. So
You know who picked this game correctly? Noted ball knower Nick Saban.
Nick Saban.
Nick
he's like,
Saban
rooting for
said
the MAC.
the MAC is tricky. And of course, after this, Bowling Green's coach is also tweeting out like, MAC is good. I don't know what you guys are complaining about. And I agree with him. The MAC is sneaky good. They'll fuck you up.
Yeah, one thing that I think is really interesting to think about that I think that you hear some people bring up, but it's not something that's super ingrained yet, is that games like this are going to be really important for who gets that G5 spot in the playoff, because there is only one spot. And, you know, getting a power conference win, that's going to matter. Who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, this might not, like, obviously Toledo would need to win the MAC for this to matter, right? And
yeah,
a lot of other
Northern
things.
Illinois too.
A lot of other things would have to, you know, go down. But, you know, this is something that you could look back on in December when the playoff comes around and you can say like, oh, wow, like that was a big game. Or, you know, that is going to be something that is going to be in the conversation when you're talking about different G5 conferences.
Yep.
I do need folks to give a moment of silence for someone very important to us. The vaunted Vandy offense. The vaunted Vandy offense had some times. They're going through it right now. Maybe they'll make it. Vandy loses to Georgia State on the road in a pretty weird one. This play right here. Commish, will you read that for us?
All right, I just want to read this play. I need video of this. Like, we were at the stadium, and I had to tweet this. I was like, is this play real? And I needed to know because of, like, sometimes the apps, like, give us something, and it's not real. And I can't fully trust the data. People are like, yeah, it's real, and it's spectacular. Georgia State gets a safety on Vanderbilt. So basically, they kick off in the end zone for a touchback. The replay official reviewed the safety, and the play was overturned. So they kicked off 64 yards from the Georgia State 35-yard line to the Vanderbilt 1. The kick returner for Vandy muffed the catch. The fumble was recovered by Vanderbilt inside the Vanderbilt end zone. So he muffed the kick, and the muff went backwards into the end zone, and they fell on it.
Okay.
They initially ruled it as a touchback, but then after review, they're like, no, that's a safety. And I need to see this.
I also would like to see this.
I would like to see.
Where was this game on? What was the game? What was this game on?
I think it's ESPN Plus.
Ah, shit. Because if it were on something else, I have everything recorded. But if it's on Plus, then I don't have it.
I think it was on Plus.
So,
it may have been on you.
Okay.
I don't know. ESPN.
I just want to
We'll
take
try to
a
find
second
it.
before we pop off this game to shout out Christian Vier, former Pitt quarterback, who is now a Panther somewhere else, doing things, winning games. Good
That
for him.
was I saw that name and I was like, wait a second. I remember him. He's the French Canadian Pitt. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, it's ESPN Plus.
Ah, shit. Maybe they still have it up. We had some Owl losses this week. Florida Atlantic. Sorry, this is Owl win. My bad. First
That's
off,
an
Florida
Owl win.
Atlantic wins the Shula Bowl. Yes.
Yes.
They win the Shula Bowl against FIU and get the trophy. An Owl loss was at the Bayou Bucket, which my beloved Rice Owls loses to Houston 33-7. Rip. The game I was going to go at if I hadn't been up here was Hawaii at Sam Houston State, and Sam Houston State wins this one handily. Sam Houston is looking really good this year, question mark? Can we get excited about this, I think?
Are the Bearcats going to go bowling?
I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything. That's my big
Okay.
thing. Like,
All
I want, if any Sam Houston fans are listening, like, I think you're good. I just don't want to jinx anything. That's why I'm going to say, like, I don't know.
Okay.
We're
Sam-
observing you carefully.
Sam Houston does get the very cool trophy we designed for them.
They do.
So
They
that's
won the Sam
exciting.
Houston with Hawaii, the grass skirt.
Sam Houston palindromes this win, by the way. It was 31-13. The most common palindrome win, in case anyone's wondering.
Yeah.
Other fun games. The one that maybe, like, this was like not quite my nightcap because I was still up past this, but Jacksonville State at Eastern Michigan. Super spicy. Ends up in double overtime.
Really?
Rich Rod
Yeah.
leaves Michigan losing. Yes. Double OT, right?
Oh, no, the only thing I saw, I basically fell over dead and I did not see this. The only thing I saw about this game was the bowling shirts or like the mechanic
No.
shirts.
The mechanic shirts, yes.
We need those.
Yeah. We do.
I
We
have
definitely need
the
those.
names on
Shout out
all
to
the
Beef.
shirts.
I've been thinking about Beef all
So
day.
let's go over this.
The defensive coordinator.
So let's go over
Beef.
the shirts.
Yeah.
There is CC, Beef,
Mhm.
Juice,
Mhm.
T, Big O, Bull City, Prince, Reed, and Cough. There's two we're missing here, but that's what an Eastern Michigan fan told Mike Golick Jr. on Twitter.
I like that these sound like the pilot names from like Top Gun.
It
Like how
does.
they'd have code names or something.
But it's like your mechanics code names.
Yes.
Commish, what's yours?
So what's my name? What's like my mechanic name?
Tag yourself. Which one are you?
I know what mine would be.
Okay, go ahead, Arthur. I gotta think.
Mine would be Baller. And I'm saying this specifically because that's the only nickname I've ever gotten in a workplace. Because when I was working at a job, this is actually the last job I had before the pandemic, which is the last time that like I ate lunches in an office with people. But people were trying to figure out how to get the subway by us to take coupons. And I just said, like, man, I don't need to go through all this trouble. Like, I'll just pay full price for Subway. And so everyone, like, that's how I got the nickname Baller in that office. But that would be the one I'd have probably.
Commish?
Well, I mean, it would probably have to be associated with my real name, but yeah, I don't want to give too much away. But
Perhaps your shirt might actually just say Commish on it.
it could say Commish if you want to keep it that way.
We might be overthinking this.
Yeah, I've I've gotten, there's Big O, but the big first name letter, or just straight,
Okay.
or just be the first letter.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think I would go with Taco. I feel like
Okay.
a taco.
Okay.
Beth, you're gonna go with beef or Beth?
Beth,
I could do Beth. That could
Beth.
work.
Beth Beef.
Yeah, that feels
And
right.
Pitt Girl, you're just gonna do Pitt. Just gonna do Pitt.
Yeah, I'll just be Pitt. That's fine.
There we go.
Rated PG-13. No.
Pretty
Or
good.
it can just say OPG. That's fine.
OPG.
You know me.
Right. You know me.
At the Duquesne game, Duke holds on to win this one
Duquesne.
26-21, but their graphic department, Dagger in the Heart,
Oh god.
their winning graphic was just the sad husky with a single tear. It was so
They
good.
like crying, Jordan, the sad husky.
Yeah. But like this was close. It was 26-21. Like they were up 17-0. And UConn comes roaring back. 21-17. I'm like, Duquesne is going the UConn way here. But then Duke was able to pull it away and kind of salt it away at the end. Which is I hate to be a UConn fan and take moral victories, but guess what, UConn? You got 6 straight fucking home games coming up. Win a few of those.
Including all the Owls.
And all of the Owls. Buy the Owl package.
Are we going to just rename Rentschler Field the Owlry?
We
Mm-hmm.
need to make an owl graphic where like it's just UConn and then there's 3 owls and there's targets on each one of the owls and then the logos of each of the teams. Owl logos.
Sorry, I lost my window. I'm only working on one screen. It's bugging me. I had high
Oh my
hopes
God.
for this next
How
one.
many tabs do you have open?
I just opened the
He's
computer.
got a
so
road
10.
game. He's working a
All right.
road
All right.
game right now.
I'll allow it.
This game I had high expectations for. I pushed for this one to be way higher in the list. This is Texas Tech 66, North Texas 21. My mean green, I'm a double mean green, but their defense could not do anything to stop Texas Tech.
So this was funny because Reese Davis tweeted, was like, hey, I'm going to have to change their nickname from being the mean green to make it the nice green. And so I just quote tweeted Reese. I'm like, how about calling them the serene green? They're nice and peaceful. And then
It's
somebody
good.
in our
It's so
replies,
good.
a Texas Tech fan just changed the logo, had the exact logo for North Texas, and it's the serene green. So now we have a thing on the podcast. So when we predict, are we going to get mean green or serene green? So we have a North Texas hook in the podcast now.
I'm gonna need the logo to look a little bit more sleepy for the serene. Like
Yeah.
it looks like it's too fast. It needs to like have a little kerchief and cap. Be about ready to go to bed.
Yeah, definitely. Put a cap on it. Yeah, I
It's
can
like
probably do that.
gliding instead of diving steeply.
Yes.
Yep.
Like turn it turn it sideways.
Texas Tech had a 35-point second quarter. Never
Yeah.
ideal for your defense. Texas
Never.
Tech ended up with 586 yards and 8.3 yards per play. Also not ideal. How many first downs?
Ouch.
25.
Texas Tech scored 3 touchdowns in a minute in this game.
That's how this game was going.
Yeah, there was a pick 6 in there, I think. I couldn't, the Texas Tech social media person just tweeted, "We're scoring so fast I can't keep up." And so I was like, I'm just going to keep quote tweeting this because they did it again and again. I think it was like 52-7 at half. It wound up being like 66-21.
So, Katie, you're listening. You may want to do some earmuffs right now, my friend. Memphis 20, Florida State 12.
Katie, I'm sorry.
Let me see what she said because I texted her.
I like that, right? So if you look at the AP poll, right? Georgia Tech, they beat Florida State in Ireland. Like that got them like all the buzz, the votes in the AP poll. Well, then Boston College did it. Boston College gets ranked. It's slowly coming down. So now Memphis beats Florida State, and they're the first team receiving votes. So people are slowly being like, I don't know if beating Florida State's impressive anymore.
I want to take this moment while we're talking about the AP poll to shout out the Boise State beat writer who gave Pitt a vote. 1 vote. Thank you.
West Virginia, quality win. Quality fucking win.
Stop it. Right.
We're so bad.
So I texted Katie and see how she was doing after what occurred. She just said, "Back to my true shit posting sicko roots." And so she's like, "Where I belong." And she's like, "Truly, I can't comprehend what happened. I think we've quit a bit and become a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's no chemistry. Our offense is completely inept." She's just like, she's back to being the. Honestly, I think again, Florida State's got a really good shot to be number 1, even though Iowa was trying to make sure that wasn't happening this week.
I know we're not going forward in time here, but hey, Beth, who is Florida State playing next week?
Florida State.
I know who they're playing.
Well,
wait, no, don't say it.
Let's see. Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Cal is going to Florida State next week.
Yes.
For a
Woke is coming for
game.
you.
Yeah,
Woke
call
is
that
coming
Woke
for you,
Campbell.
Tallahassee.
Yeah, Woke Campbell Stadium.
Whoever made the
Cal
graphic.
Twitter is-
Okay, I could not post it. I
Nope.
showed it to Commish. Commish said, no, that's fine. But I'm saying it on here. The Woke Campbell Stadium thing, one of the funniest things I saw yesterday.
It was
Cal Twitter,
hilarious.
you
It
were
was
on
very
fire.
good.
Cal Twitter is just gas, and I'm so glad that they're in the ACC now. This is amazing.
Honestly, it's wild how good of a cultural fit they are for the ACC.
Lord.
Like this, I don't like geography. It's weird, but this is an ACC ass team. This is an ACC ass fan base.
Cal is what if Virginia was liberal hippie Virginia? That's Cal.
Yeah, I will look like Cal is basically winning over the ACC, like one game at a time. Just like, this is great. If they beat Florida State, I mean, like everybody else in the ACC is just going to give them one giant hug.
Mm-hmm.
Just
fuck it. Let's
It's a
talk about Cal
cultural
right now.
exchange.
Hey,
Oh
Pitt
yeah,
Girl,
no, I'm always down.
what
to talk
happened at
about
the Cal game?
Oh my god, the Cal game. This is like the only thing that I actually really saw during the Cal game. Or I didn't see it. I saw it the next morning. I did watch a
I
little
have
bit
the
of
audio
game.
linked in
Oh,
there.
it's so good. It's so good. Justin Wilcox had to do the like disappointed dad thing into a stolen ref lapel mic. So he's like standing next to the ref. He's got the ref's shirt pulled out, standing very close to him, being like, "Please stop throwing stunt cards onto the field. This causes a 15-yard penalty, and we would like to win the football game. Stop doing this."
I love that Justin Wilcox was the coach, like begging students to come to the game
Mm-hmm.
earlier in the week. And then when they come to the game, the students do this. Like, to start throwing the stuff on the field, causing them, I think they got 2 penalties for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Two 15-yard penalties for this, yes.
15-yard penalties, stop doing this, which is, this is why you stay up late to watch the games, because like stuff like this happens in these games and you don't see it until you wake up, which, I mean, just absolutely amazing and fantastic. We're going to have to do a video of
everyone just take your pencil out and your calendar real fast. Number 8, Miami goes to Cal on October 5, and I'm going to start screaming about game day if Cal beats Florida State.
Can we have this also be a 9 p.m. Eastern game, please?
Oh,
please.
I hope. No, it's not scheduled yet.
Okay, there's no time for
it
that,
needs
right?
to be. It needs to be a late ass kick.
That yet, right?
Yeah, the times are top secret. We can't let college football fans know.
To be determined. To be determined.
Can I just say about Cal, like, I know like everyone came to Pittsburgh and had a great time, and we've been posting some stuff about it, and we're not being funded at all by Pittsburgh tourism, but I am kind of hoping that maybe like Cal fans out there see how much fun it is to attend a game in Pittsburgh. I would very much like to meet as many Cal fans as possible in October when Cal comes to Heinz Field, to Pittsburgh. If you're a Cal fan, you're listening to this, you're coming to that game, please get in touch with me.
I looked at the East Carolina App State game early. I saw East Carolina was up 16-0. And I was like, well, that's fucked. Done. This is going to be a roll. App State 21, East Carolina 19. Yeah.
So there was one point where we thought it was 17-0, but it turned out they did not make the extra point. And I don't know if I jinxed it or somebody else jinxed it who was tweeting about it. The extra point was actually no good. So instead of 17-0, it was 16-0. And then App State goes 21 unanswered to go up 21-16. East Carolina gets a field goal, but App State is able to hang on at the end, which I knew this was going to be weird, and that was weird enough for me.
This continues my question of, is East Carolina good? Is App State bad? And I don't know that I, again, have enough information to get to that point yet, but I'm interested in seeing if East Carolina can hit in the American. And I'm interested in seeing what happens when App State gets into like the meat of the Sun Belt. Because if the first couple weeks are a sign, App State fans are not going to like this year. It might be a rough one for y'all. Colorado State did not hold up well against Colorado, alas. In our pair of West Coast rivalry games, the one that you could watch on normal things, Oregon at Oregon State, Ducks did not fuck around and find out.
No. The Beavs brought it within like 8, I think, or like 22-14, but then Oregon was like, no, you're not getting close anymore. And it seemed like they got their offensive line sorted out, and Gabriel had a lot of time, and they were able to score a bunch. And they put it on the Beavs, unfortunately. But
then
the other one.
On the Peacock. Proud like a peacock. Washington 24, Washington State, Jesus Christ.
What?
Washington State
I
24, Washington
like
19.
a peacock, but that's not right.
Peacocks make the most like horrible screeching sounds, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
They don't sound nice.
Yeah.
No, peacocks are not beautiful in a vocal
inside.
sense.
In the auditory sense.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey Beth, I don't have a soundboard down here. Can I just go up and hit you in the arm and make you yell like a peacock?
You can try.
Please remember
No,
that
Steph.
you are in Beth's house, which is where all the knives are.
True.
There are so many. She has so many adjacent knives, y'all. Like,
Yeah, don't mess around.
like she could. Like, the reason I know that I'm okay now is because if she wanted me dead, there are woods behind here to put the body, and plenty of sharp things to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know she's a
That
good
would be
host.
far too easy. Far too easy.
Ha ha ha.
Central
Just
Pennsylvania
so everyone
don't play.
knows. Just so everyone knows, I'm supposed to be going home tomorrow, Monday, the 16th. If I do not make it home, Beth will have been the last person to see me. Just so we all know.
I will have been helpful. Don't worry.
Oh, shucks. I'll drive around looking for Jordan's body. Can't find him.
Oh, no.
All right, let's break this one down here. Just Apple Cup, Washington State versus Washington at a neutral site, Lumen Field, which is weird. I don't know why they did this.
They do this fairly regularly, I think, in part because it's so difficult to get to Pullman. And most of the Wazoo fans live in the Seattle area anyway. So,
anyway, true. I just want to give a shout out to John Mateer, the quarterback for Wazoo. As a passer, 17 for 34, 245 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. So he was 50% passing and 1 TD, 1 interception. Just perfect. Great. Rushing, 16 carries for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He had all the rushing touchdowns.
Jesus.
He had everything. He accounted for everything. It was incredible. The goal line stop with the play choice, which, again, Jed Fish brought into the short side. You can break it down if you want. I don't care. Wazoo wins this. It feels great for Wazoo. Shout out to Brian Floyd being hating ass Wazoo fan, which, Wazoo
we
fans,
love that for him.
Wazoo fans, you needed this one and you earned it. Now talk your shit.
The Washington Post on a college football article about this game headline is Washington State shouts down college football's hierarchy with Apple Cup win. Fight the patriarchy, hierarchy, P4-yarchy,
whatever. P4-yarchy. I like that. It sounds like a weird turkey you would eat at Thanksgiving.
That's such a weird. That's such a Washington Post brand headline for this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Hey, Washington Post. If you want to hire some writers, Washington Post, we got him here. Actually, doesn't Godfrey write for the Washington Post every once in a while?
Godfrey writes for the Post.
Yeah.
If that was that Godfrey's article?
This wasn't Godfrey. This was not God. No.
Okay, one guy. Okay,
no way.
Okay.
No,
all right, I'm gonna go rapid fire. We are running low on time. Since he beats Miami, Ohio, they win the victory bell and they break the tie in the series. A&M at Florida. Florida fans apparently booed Billy Napier during a drunk driving PSA.
Yep, he put him up on the scoreboard, because they have all the pre-recorded stuff, and
all the pre-recorded, and they booed him. They were down 20-0 at halftime. It didn't get much better. Apparently, there's Board of Regents meeting supposedly happening, not happening. I don't know for sure, but
no, that was not true.
Who knows what's going to happen there? Notre Dame at Purdue. Purdue's worst loss in school history. What?
The Board of Regents. Sorry, I lagged out. The Board of Regents meeting wasn't that. It was like a football board.
It didn't happen, right?
No, it did not happen. It was something else.
Okay, so it didn't. I was like, that's why I was like, I don't know if it happened or it didn't happen because I got conflicting reports.
I do kind of get the vibes though that it does it. It's a when, not if. So I'm not super worried about.
Well, they
that stuff.
The AD is probably on the hot seat too here. So that could take.
And they don't have a president.
Yeah. Yes. Lovely. Notre Dame at Purdue. Purdue fans, I'm sorry, folks. Purdue's worst loss in school history. At one point during this game, Notre Dame had 66 points on 66 plays. That's all we need to talk about that there. Kennesaw State at San Jose State. Ken Niumatalolo, 3-0.
Hey.
3-0 at San Jose State. Arizona State at Texas State on Thursday. Texas State held its own. Scatterboo was the bowling ball Minecraft man, which I kind of felt like this would how it would come down to at the end in the fourth quarter. And Scatterboo was basically able to salt the game away, except like Texas State had one random play that was not on a broadcast.
This is the special
weird lateral
only
and it didn't work out.
In person. Only if you were at the game. This is special content for you. If you bought tickets to this game, you got one play that was all yours.
You joined the Texas State Patreon. That's right.
Yeah,
the Bobcat Patreon.
If you have Boko bucks, you can absolutely cash those in for a special thing.
I will say, no, I did hear the final play on the Varsity app because I was
Oh,
listening to the Texas State radio call. They did their whole, like, you know how at the end of the broadcast they
you
will
about to
list
sign
all
off?
their sponsors, like,
Yeah.
well, it's brought to you by this and this and this, and they did that and then came back. And the only reason I hadn't switched it off was like I put the radio broadcast on while I was playing a game of EA Sports College Football, and so I would just like I was mid game, so I was like waiting until the end of the game to switch it off. And so I heard the final play, which it's very funny when they do something like that, but also it's like, well, they're just going to try to throw a bunch of laterals and then it's going to be down. Like it wasn't a final play that was really had any shot of mattering.
No, it was like they completed the first one and tried the lateral, and it was an immediate fumble, and Arizona State got it, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
So,
exactly what it was.
That's what it was. UNLV at Kansas in the soccer stadium. UNLV wins this game. Kansas just, I don't know, just can't put it together offensively at this point. And UNLV wins ranked now.
This one, hey Beth, who does West Virginia have coming to them next week? A very, very angry Kansas.
Yeah. Behold, at the Kansas Get Right game. Oh, I knew. I knew exactly why you were wearing that shirt, Pitt Girl. I knew.
I mean, it was a happy coincidence. No, I picked the
Mhm.
shirt out of the drawer on purpose. I'm
On
sorry.
purpose. Let's torture the West Virginia. I love this. All right. Next game, Air Force at Baylor.
No, no.
Army 2.
Army 2.
Army 2. Yeah, okay. Sorry, my bad. I was like, what did I do wrong? Army
They
2.
still haven't thrown a touchdown pass, have
Nope.
Army
They
2.
have
They only
not.
scored 3 points in this game.
they? Okay.
So, Army 2 loses 31-3 to Baylor. The first half, I just want to say the first half was magnificent on this game. It was 3-3 at the half. So I'm just going to read off what we have here. So we got punt, field goal, punt, fumble, missed field goal, turnover on downs, field goal, fumble, punt, fumble, field goal. That was the first half. 3-3. Baylor pulled away, but oh my God, the Baylor fans. Whew. Definitely not appreciate that. I'm sorry, Baylor was up 6-3 at half. My apologies. LSU at South Carolina, the most surrender Cobras in one sitting ever, I think. We got that. LSU is now insane. LSU, I feel like they're Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde at this point because they throw out together like a drive or 2 drives in a row, and you're like, they're the best team in the world. And then something inexplicable happens immediately. Like their power is just completely sapped, and they just gave up a 66-yard run. And Brian Kelly puts his hand in his face. He face palms. It's just wild. LSU is back, and it's great. Tulane at Oklahoma. Tulane fought really tough. They had a chance to take the lead at 24-19, but the freshman QB made a freshman QB mistake. It got baited into an interception. Great play by Oklahoma. They were able to pull away at the end. Arizona at Kansas State. My bad. Kansas State dominated the game. And, I mean, really, I don't know what Arizona's trying to do on offense. They have one dude who is awesome as a wide receiver, but I just don't know if anything is clicking offensively at this point for them. It kind of should be, but maybe the QB's going through a little bit of a sophomore slump, so to speak. But Kansas State handled their business, and they look great. Complete team. Virginia Tech at Old Dominion, the elevator uniform reveal does not work for ODU. Virginia Tech gets over the ODU curse, and they win this one, I think, by 20. We already talked about San Diego State at California, Coach Wilcox yelling at the students. Boston College at Mizzou. I flew into St. Louis, and I saw a bunch of people in BC shirts. I was dying laughing. I was like, this is great. I got BC fans in the St. Louis airport with me. It was phenomenal. BC hung tough. They couldn't pass the ball, but Mizzou was able to gut out a 6-point win very nicely. UCF at TCU. TCU blows a 21-point lead. I had a feeling this one could get weird, and it did. And then, UCF did the video with the frog at the end, which was phenomenal.
I really enjoyed that. Shout
That
out
was
to
a good one.
UCF's social media team.
That was great. Coastal Carolina at Temple, the one that Pitt Girl shunned to go to the Backyard Brawl. It was a close game. Temple put in the backup QB, and they looked a little bit more competent. They did lose this one only by 8.
Yeah.
28-20.
Temple still on 0-12 watch, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
It was kind of like, okay. Alabama and Wisconsin, whatever, somewhere else. Troy at Iowa. Iowa was down 14-10 at halftime. And this happened like after I tweeted and Florida State lost, and I tweeted that Florida State may be our number 1 team in the poll. And then Iowa was like, okay, it's 14-10 at halftime. And I took that personally. But they pulled away. They dropped 38 points total. But this was kind of the game that like Iowa fans were so mad, but like they won, like kind of handily, but they were just so pissed on how the first half went. But they're just glad to pull away. Oklahoma State at Tulsa, all Oklahoma State. BYU at Wyoming, all BYU. New Mexico State at Fresno State, essentially all Fresno, I believe, right? Think so.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, 48-0. That was all Fresno. South Florida at Southern Miss. Southern Miss was within 5 at the half, and they didn't score anything in the second half, and South Florida just pulled away. It was like 49-24 was the final score. New Mexico had Auburn. New Mexico was putting up like tons of yardage in the first half and just driving Auburn fans insane. And then the second half happened, and Auburn was able to pull away with a nice victory. Central Michigan at Illinois, 3-0 Illinois.
Are we gonna get?
We are getting ranked.
Nevernois.
That's right. We have to have a new version of the wine bottle, and it has to have like the rankings of both teams on it. Like
it's a blue ribbon wine now.
It is
Nerb
a blue
Noir
ribbon
Nouveau.
Sorry. Ooh.
Lovely.
Nerb
Ole
Noir.
Miss.
Okay.
Ole Miss
I like
at Wake
that.
Forest.
It sounds fancy.
Ole Miss at Wake Forest. Ole Miss wins this one handily. 40.
There's no pursuit here.
Wake Forest decided to pay Ole Miss $1 million to not play them next year. After this
Sometimes discretion's the better part of valor.
Sometimes one date is
This
enough.
is. Mm-hmm. Oh, I've been on the date. We have split the checks.
I just like to imagine Wake Forest being hit so hard that like rings come out like Sonic rings. Like it's just $1 million. Like that's how bad you got beat. It's just
They lost the Pokemon battle, and they are giving up their mystery amount of money.
Yeah,
And the mystery amount of money is $1 million.
Wake, it's look, Wake is a good academic school, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, they're smart here. I'm just gonna say that. They know when they have been bested.
The thing is, like, when this happens, it's usually like weeks afterwards or months. The season's over, and all of a sudden we hear, "Yeah, they dropped that non-conference game." Nope. Sunday morning. Here's the check. Cashiers were cutting it. I want this no more.
Lane Kiffin found out about this before the game, and he was the one that kind of blew this up. Yes, he was retweeting. If you check his timeline, he was like, "It'd be nice to play these guys again," but apparently they called him earlier in the week, and they were like, "We're not going to do this again."
This is like the date that goes so badly that 5 minutes in, you're going out the bathroom window.
This is the one where you probably are going to ghost it before it happens, but then you show up anyway, and then you're texting,
like, you're texting
my instincts were correct.
Like,
here, call me in 5 minutes, please.
Tell me my grandma died.
This is the date you're leaving like Tommy Tuberville at that Texas Tech recruiting dinner.
Tommy Tuberville did not finish the Big Sexton.
That's fucking Senator Tommy Tuberville. Use the name properly.
No.
He wasn't a senator back then.
Fine.
No, he wasn't. He was a head coach at the time. That's right.
I feel like coach outranks senator in terms of like titles.
We have evidence of this right now, actually. Coach definitely outranks governor.
Gonna outrank VP. I remember to laugh at that.
President Harris and Coach
the president and coach.
Does he get to bring coordinators on?
Yes,
that's what a cabinet is. Yeah,
that is. Yeah, cabinet is your coordinators. Perfect. All right, UAB at Arkansas. UAB up 17-3, but Arkansas wins somewhat comfortably, but still annoying the Arkansas fans. You can kind of feel the dark clouds rolling in because the schedule gets more and more ominous.
Mhm.
Utah defeats Utah State. Cam Rising was out with like a weird laceration on his hand, so he didn't even play. But Utah was able to pull out a victory here. UTSA at Texas.
No. That's UTSA at #1 Texas. How'd
right.
that
I'm
feel,
gonna
Jordan?
throw up. I'm gonna throw the fuck up. This thing, guys.
Come to get you.
When we were,
Does it make you feel better if we horns down you?
yes, that makes me feel better. I was
Okay,
talking to
never
Beth.
mind.
We were in the
Hook 'em.
car.
Hook 'em.
We were in the car today, and Beth was like, "Oh, like what happened?" I saw it, and I was like, "Oh God, fuck!" Because number 2 is aspirational. That's like we are trying for this thing. Number 1, I don't feel like this is a 15-0 Texas team, so something's gonna drop, and whatever that drop is gonna be rough.
Is it going to be this week?
No
Check out.
way.
Find out next time on the Sickos Committee podcast.
That's
God.
right. We got to keep going. Got to keep rolling here. Arch Manning got wheels from his father Cooper, who was a wide receiver, and his grandpappy Archie, who had wheels in college and then he had wheels for the Saints. But the only problem, he was running for his life every single play
The problem
with
was
the
the
Saints.
Saints.
Watching Arch run, he somehow looked so fast and so slow, and I have no clue how that happened.
It's really
He looked
weird.
so slow for some of it. Right. Like the film was running at the wrong
How tall
frame
is
rate
he?
almost.
Is he tall? I wonder if it's that his stride length is really long, and so then he doesn't have to move his legs as fast, and that's what makes him
6'4".
flow.
I think the term
Okay,
you're looking
he's
for
fine.
is deceptively athletic.
He's a gym rat. First one in, last one
A
out.
coach on the team.
Real
A real
coach's
coach on the
kid.
field. Real coach on the field.
I mean, he is a coach's son.
I mean, he didn't get the
Georgia
speed from
at
his uncles.
Kentucky. Georgia at Kentucky. We were thinking about not ranking this game, but I was like, can Kentucky pull off this weird thing that they do, this Georgia voodoo on them? And they kind of did it, but they still, like, Kentucky can put this Georgia voodoo on them, but they can't, like, close the deal. And that reminds me of what Beth's review, the 1-star review about Kentucky that we had the short of, and I may want to repost that again because that's what it was. And funny, when we were exiting the field, I saw one of those bolts too that was in the picture. I saw the bolt. I was gonna pick it up, but I was like, somebody was walking. I was like, look out for the bolt. Next one. Ball State, Miami, not close. Miami, big win. Minnesota beat Nevada, I think pretty handily. It was close for a bit, but then I believe they pulled away. Okay.
They did.
Louisiana Tech scared the living shit out of North Carolina State. NC State pulled it off, won by 10. Kent State at Tennessee, it's 30-0 in the first quarter.
Yes.
And Tennessee decides to kick an onside kick.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have two minds here. Are you like Cobra Kai and no mercy?
It feels a little bit mean to me, but I will say this. I respect the hell out of Kent State for being like, no, fuck you. We don't want the running clock in the second half. We're going to do this. We're going to die like men.
We're going to die
I
like
respect
men.
the hell out of that.
I will die on the swords. Again, this big Kent State supporter. Shout out to the Kent State sandal guy who was actually at this game to watch this occur.
Oh, God bless him.
Yeah, fantastic. They lose 71-0. They covered the live line of 79.5. Apparently, Richard Johnson bet that and was desperately hoping that they covered. It was 65-0 at halftime, I believe. Crazy. Michigan was beating Arkansas State like 28-3, and like Arkansas State scored 2 garbage touchdowns, I believe, to make it 28-18 at the end. So this is again that Michigan game that everybody hates. Like it's like 30-ish to teens-ish, like scoring the teens. And it's just like that's what they are. Shout out to their quarterback who went 11 for 14. His 3 incomplete passes were interceptions.
That is so hard to do. Going 11 for 14 with no incompletes, only interceptions, fucking wild.
It was Davis Warren, 11 for 14 for 122 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
We're at the end of our FBS slate. We have a couple of FCS ones that we want to talk about. The big one being Charlotte Gardner-Webb. If you missed this one, Gardner-Webb was up big, and Charlotte comes back and wins it, but it looks real scary in the process.
Oh, it was terrifying. Charlotte won 27-26, I think.
It was 1 point. We had a rematch in FCS. Albany heads to Idaho for ranked versus ranked FCS action. The Vandals were angry, and they took it out on Albany.
You wouldn't like the Vandals when they're angry. Oh my God, did they? Whew! Like Albany was like ranked 17th. Incredible. Just they put it on them. Big win. 41-13. It was 41-3 at one point, and that was it. I also want to give a shout out to probably one of my favorite scores of the weekend. Montana defeated Morehead State 59-2.
Ooh.
Yes. Now
Which
it wasn't a
was-
safety. It was not a safety.
Oh,
It was a blocked extra point return for a 2.
Ah.
So that's why I was
technically
like, I
not a
ran the
safety.
safety alerts and I was like, where's this 2? And it's not there. I was like, oh, this was a 2-point return for a touchdown.
Also a college football scoregami.
Yes. It was
we
great.
like those.
Mm-hmm.
I got a few more things I wanted to discuss here. We're again trying to run out of time here, but I have shout out to Fort Lewis D2, first win in 40 games. One of our followers had one of our koozies there at the game. They took a picture of the koozie. Shout out. I can't remember your name right now, and I cannot find it because Twitter search is just crap right now. I'm trying to find it on the timeline, and I just cannot. So let me shout out to that. Fort Lewis, longest losing streak in the NCAA is over. Now that unfortunately falls to Western Illinois, which maybe they'll break it next week. They got a shot. So definitely big win there for Fort Lewis out there in, I think they're in Colorado.
Yes, Colorado.
Yes, totally.
Because the reason I remember is because they played Colorado School of Mines last year, and Mines like blew the doors off them.
Name is Peyton. It's just, I think it's Peyton Deal. I think if I said the name right, but whatever. Shout out.
And then lastly, our Spinach Team of the Week. This is the team that.
Oh no, I got something ahead of this.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Go for it.
Not the Spinach Team of the Week, but I got one here. I just want to read these 2 drives that happened in the Lamar and Weber State game. So Lamar wins this game 17-16, but these are 2 back-to-back drives where I run my play data for the Sicko Stat Summary, which is going to be delayed by a day, which it'll probably be out Tuesday when the podcast happens. Lamar goes 17 plays, 80 yards, 9 minutes, 12 seconds, turnover on downs. Then Weber decides to answer back. 20 plays, 96 yards, 8 minutes, and 55 seconds. Turnover on down.
God.
Oh no.
Jesus.
I'm going to have to
Christ.
give a joint award. This is back-to-back drives.
Wow.
Back-to-back drives. Like this, I'm just going to give an award to these 2 teams and put both of their drives
That's
on
so
the
much
same
work
thing.
for so little.
Yes.
This is also very spinachy.
Yeah.
It is very
Yeah, this is
spinachy.
also-
But we got to give the Spinach Team of the Week award. And I want to make an apology here for Clock Commander of the Week. Since we've been traveling the past couple of weeks, we haven't been tracking it. But we're going to bring it back, of course. We're doing it. If you have any good clock commandering, somebody using timeouts in interesting fashions or like way too early or something, let us know. Tag us. And we'll look up the sequence.
And we saw in person Pat Narduzzi use a timeout.
Pat
to save
Narduzzi
9
got a little
seconds,
bit, but he
so.
got away with it.
I feel like it's not a clock commandering if your team wins.
Yeah, if you still get the win, it depends on what time it is, though. We normally have
Usually.
nominees. We're going to bring it back.
Usually.
It's just that we have not been able to track it for these first few weeks, and we apologize for that. Spinach Team of the Week. Shout out to the Dayton Flyers, the alma mater of my father, which is great. Dayton blew out Indiana State in the metrics yesterday, outgaining them 326 yards to 92 yards. Dayton did not allow Indiana State to convert a third down. But Indiana State, the Sycamores, our beloved Sycamores, won the game by 11 points, 24 to 13.
Oh,
God.
Now-
326 yards
To
and
92.
13 points.
Yes.
Oh,
And the other
my.
team had 92. Now, there was, I think, an interception return for touchdown. You know how many yards passing Indiana State had? 12. 6 for 8 for 12
Jesus.
yards. 6 for 8 for 12 yards. That looked like that DJ Uncle Lele stat line of like 5 for 6 for like 7 yards. But yeah, 6 for 8 for 12 yards.
5 first downs. Did I see that right?
5 first downs. They did
Yes,
convert
you
one
saw that
fourth
right.
down. Yeah.
Oh.
0 for 11 on third down and 1 for 1 on fourth down.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And won by double digits.
And won the game by double fucking digits.
Yes.
They averaged just over 2 yards per play.
That feels
Again,
like too many.
they are the Sycamores
Mhm.
for a reason. And again, we love watching them. They have awesome logos, everything.
I respect their efficiency. They didn't do anything more than they had to do, and they won the game.
Very true.
Good for them.
Good for them. They did it. I'm going to give a shout out some safety alerts. Tennessee got one on Kent State because Kent State decided to snap the ball over their head on 3 consecutive drives. Unfortunately, one was a safety. Georgia State got that weird one on Vandy because it was the muff or whatever. And I believe UT Martin got one, the Skyhawks. I think they're the Skyhawks. They got one. And, that was basically it for the week. And, again, thank you for bearing with us. We were traveling this week. We were at a game. We've never done this before, which was great. We got to meet everybody in person and see that everybody has legs instead of just like the upper body in the camera. Mm-hmm. So that was great. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Maybe
we had
we'll
legs
even-
and feet.
Yeah.
Legs, feet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, for
I think we
sure. We
should.
will. Oh, yeah.
Folks, thank you so
We
much
have a
for
second date?
everything. Yeah, I think so.
We got a second date. Okay.
Much like it's a college football tradition. We do not yet know when it is.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Oh, no.
Again, maybe SickoCon at the Bass Pro Pyramid in Memphis.
I like that. No, we're doing a home and home. We just don't know when the second leg is.
I'm paying $1 million to cancel that.